This house was sold for a price too good to be true. And within days, it started taking lives. What happened inside the Amityville house in 1995 is so disturbing, most people don't even know the full story. In 1995, Lori and James Wilson moved into the Amityville house with their 2 children, Kathy and Sue Wilson. The house was enormous, beautiful, and surprisingly affordable. Even though they were aware of its frightening reputation, the unbelievably low price convinced them to buy it. What they didn't realize was that the happiness they felt upon moving in would soon turn into pure terror. Within just a few days, the Wilson family's youngest child began falling sick frequently, sometimes with high fever, sometimes with unbearable body pain. Doctors found no clear cause. At the same time, Kathy, the elder daughter, started feeling an unsettling presence in her bedroom. Every night, after turning on the heater, her room would suddenly become unnaturally cold, as if something unseen was draining the warmth from the air. Lori was already stressed because of her son's illness, but when Kathy shared her experiences, Lori felt deeply disturbed. Slowly, the horrifying stories she had once dismissed began to feel frighteningly real. One night, as Lori went around the house turning off the lights, she suddenly felt like someone was watching her. When she turned around, she saw James standing still, staring at her in a strange, lifeless way. She called out to him again and again, but he didn't respond. Without saying a word, James began laughing softly and walked toward the basement. Terrified, Lori followed him. When she reached the basement, she was horrified to see James digging into the concrete floor like a madman, as if something was calling him from beneath the ground. She tried to stop him, pulling him back with all her strength. In the struggle, the Holy Cross locket around her neck broke and fell onto James's chest. The moment it touched him, the entire basement began shaking violently. Objects rattled, shelves trembled, and an inhuman scream echoed through the room. James's body started convulsing uncontrollably before he collapsed unconscious. With the help of Kathy, Lori dragged James back to the bedroom. By then, she knew for sure a dark, negative energy was living inside the house. The following night, after everyone had fallen asleep, Lori returned to the basement alone. She dug into the same spot where James had been digging and uncovered a large metal box sealed with a red lock. She searched everywhere for the key, but it was nowhere to be found. That same night, something horrifying was happening in Kathy's room. Her bed suddenly began shaking violently. The wardrobe door opened on its own, throwing clothes and objects onto the floor. Kathy screamed, but no sound escaped her room. Then she noticed something strange, a hidden door inside the wardrobe. When she stepped inside, her body froze in terror. Behind the door was a secret room filled with pale, terrified people tied with chains. Their faces looked ancient, as if they had been trapped there for centuries. They weren't alive, they were souls. As Kathy tried to run, she heard her younger brother crying. Pushing through the spirits, she saw that her father James was also chained, behaving unnaturally, as if under immense pain. Somehow, Kathy managed to free her brother and escape. Meanwhile, Lori broke open the box in the basement. The moment it opened, the entire house plunged into darkness. Upstairs, James began screaming in agony. His eyes turned milky white, and his limbs twisted at impossible angles. Inside the box, Lori found old experimental tools, photographs, and a rifle. The photographs revealed the horrifying truth. A priest who hated Protestant Americans had brought people to the Amityville house, chained them in the basement, shot them with that rifle, and buried their bodies there. The chained figures Kathy had seen were not living people. They were the restless souls of the murdered victims. As Lori and her children tried to process the truth, James suddenly broke into the basement, completely possessed. In panic, Lori grabbed the rifle to protect her children. In a moment of chaos and fear, she fired. James collapsed dead. Lori escaped the house with her children and ran to the police. However, because her fingerprints were on the rifle, the court found her guilty and sentenced her to life imprisonment. Kathy and her brother were sent to live with their grandmother. The Amityville house still stands today, and many believe the tortured souls remain trapped inside. Lori's story is just one of countless horrifying incidents linked to this cursed house.